it's perfectly legitimate to ask, what do you want to do when you grow up? I wouldn't ask,
What do you want to
who do
be?
you want to be? It's a different question.
Because you already are being.
Yes. So not to equate being with some external thing, with activities or status in society or possessions, not to equate being with that. So that's the realm of doing. That belongs to the realm of doing. And there's a place for doing. And doing, of course, all doing requires time. So that's also the place where time operates. So you have a future goal. What do you want to do next year? So there's that dimension. We honor this dimension. We need to do our best also in the human dimension, but without losing touch with the more vital dimension of the essence of being. That is the mastery of life, is finding a balance between the human dimension and the being dimension, not losing yourself in the human. Now, nobody has perfect balance. You're right, except perhaps you, Oprah.
I don't have perfect gums. No, not a bit.
Because
I'm still in the pantry looking for the nuts.
I know you have incredible capacity for doing, much more than I have. Incredible capacity for doing, but you are connected with being.
Yeah.
So you are more on the doing side without losing connectedness with being.
Yeah.
I'm more on the being side without completely losing my ability to do.
To do, yeah. I have more being than most people I know.
Yeah.
I do have more being.
Right. Yes.
I'm nowhere near where you are. Okay, but I spend a lot of time, and Gail sometimes will just call and say, "What are you doing? Being with your thoughts?" Yes, I am. I actually am. It's a running joke with us. Is that, oh, I'm just sitting here being with my thoughts. Yes, yes. You beautifully sum up, I think, the essence of what this book is on page 295 when you say, not what you do, but how you do what you do determines whether you are fulfilling your destiny. I'm going to say that again. It's not what you do, but how you do what you do determines whether you are fulfilling your destiny. And how you do what you do is determined by your state of consciousness. And ultimately, it's about how we bring consciousness to every moment and to every action in our lives. So do we need to be conscious in every single moment? Because that is a tall order for most people.
Yes, don't make impossible demands upon yourself and then beat yourself up if you can't fulfill them. So you don't need to be constantly present, because by saying that, you're already creating some future.
Yeah.
Saying, I need to be present. Okay, no, it's actually easier than that. All you need to be present
is
here
right
and now. There's nothing else. So that can't be that difficult. But only when the mind comes in and says, yeah, but can you sustain it in the rest of your life? You're losing yourself in the future.
Yeah.
So, and then it gets difficult, because then your self, your identity comes in. Am I spiritual enough to be able to do it? And all kinds of things. Ego identity comes back in. Am I going to succeed in being present? Another concept, mental concept. But the actuality of it is more simple. All you need is to be present now. Is that difficult? No. But then what about the next moment? You don't know. Because the next moment actually never comes. It never comes. It's always now. So just be present now. And the moment you realize you lost it, you lost your sense of presence, in the moment of realization, it's back. Because if you were truly lost, you wouldn't know you're lost.
Yes.
In the same way that a truly mentally, let's say a crazy person, or it's a politically incorrect term, but I'm using it in a loose sense, a crazy person, a really crazy person doesn't know they're crazy. But if you know you're crazy, you're not completely crazy, because there's a knowing there.
Because there's the awareness.
Awareness is there.
Yes. Yeah. There's the awareness. I am acting crazy right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciated the book. One of my other favorite passages, I don't even know where it is. I didn't underline it in this version, where you talk about what a miracle it is, what an absolute wonder that we are life, and that most people move through the world thinking of yourselves as having a life instead of recognizing that you actually are life.
Yes.
You don't have a life.
Yes.
You are life.
Yes.
Can you speak to that?
Yes, I often say that you don't have a life because people talk about my life and they refer to, but they identify with something that they call my life. And this thing they think about continuously because it's the most important topic, my life.
My life, my
what
life.
could be more important than my life? And they talk about it and think about it. And of course, what exactly is that? Of course, it's a narrative. It's a story in your mind consisting of memories, things that you did, things that were done to you, all kinds of things that you identify
My
with
life,
in
my
your
life, my
memory
life, my
banks.
life.
So what people call my life is actually memories, a bundle of memories that they identify with.
Eckhart says many of us fabricate an identity for ourselves based on our health, our careers, our finances, our relationships. And Eckhart says over time, we weave these elements into a story we call my life. And often we become victim to these narratives. However, Eckhart teaches we don't have to turn difficulties into suffering because when you become awake or have a full sense of awareness, we can liberate ourselves from the shackles of our incessant thinking.
And I call that, I believe it's in the power of now, that's actually not your life, that's your life situation. Everybody has a life situation. That life situation has a past and a future, an imagined future, but a future. So that's your life situation. But what about your life? What do you mean life? Well, life is this moment. Can you feel alive at this moment? Can you feel that you are conscious at this moment? Can you feel the essence of yourself as consciousness in this moment? And if you can feel the essence of yourself as consciousness in this moment, that's your life. And that is not a life that you have, because if you say, I have a life, then there's you and there's life. In the same way, if you say, I have consciousness, then who is the I? No, you are consciousness. And you don't have a life, you are life. It's an amazing realization that the essence of you is life and the life is the consciousness of you. Of course, you still remember, those memories are still there, but you no longer go to I'm looking for your identity. You honor the memories and all those things that make up the personality or the person, but your identity can now be arrived from a more vital and more real place, which is the consciousness of you in this moment. And that gives you a feeling of aliveness and joy in a deeper sense.
And also not finding your identity in things and labels.
Oh, yes.
Because all things will pass away.
Yes.
And all labels you will eventually lose.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.